Marijuana, weed, devil's lettuce. No matter what you call it, it ain't legal in North Carolina, not even for medicinal purposes. This is what the fight to legalize medicinal use looked like 8 months ago.
I fought for my country. I'm willing to die for my country. I want my country to stand up for me. All I want is the legal source.
And the argument against it.
The public health risks are immense. Drug abuse and addiction. Change in brain function.
Legalizing medicinal marijuana might have a better chance this year. Let's talk about why on the record.
Thanks for joining me for this episode of On the Record. I'm Chris Lovingood. Medicinal marijuana is again being discussed among state lawmakers, as it was last year and the year before and so on. Managing pain is one of the most common uses for people using medicinal marijuana, but there are other reasons people turn to it, including post-traumatic stress disorder. We'll hear from a veteran about that in just a bit. But first, I want to start with Democratic State Senator Paul Lowe. Senator, thank you so much for joining me. This is a very important topic. You introduced Senate Bill 3, a.k.a. the NC Compassionate Care Act, to legalize medicinal marijuana. So first, lay the land for me. What exactly does this bill do?
This bill provides an opportunity to help some folks in North Carolina. That's ultimately what we're trying to do with this bill. We have looked at marijuana and its medical use in other states. And when we began to look at it, we began to say, hey, it can help some folks in our state as well. I know about the stigma of it, but if it can help someone through various conditions, with various medical problems, we need to make it available for the people of our state.
We're going to get into the stigma in just a bit, but this is a conversation that has been had at the state level for years, and I'm wondering, what is the likelihood this time that we could actually see medicinal marijuana legalized in North Carolina?
Well, I think that both chambers have deliberated over it and talked about it and thoroughly vetted it. And now it's the time for us to make this product available for those that may need it in our state.
You touched on some points a little bit ago, but elaborate, why is this something it needs to be legalized and right now? We've heard from people that say it helps them when it comes to managing pain. It helps them with certain other conditions as well. But what's your push? What's your way to address people saying, hey, we need to have this legalized?
Well, one of the things that we did look at is pain management. We looked at cancer victims. One of the bill's sponsors is a cancer survivor. And it has helped persons deal with pain. Many of us feel like it's far safer than the opiates. And we know about the opiate problem all across the country and even in this state. So we wanted to look at other states have considered it and have legalized it for medical use, and we feel like it's a good thing for medical use here in North Carolina.
And North Carolina is one of 13 states where medicinal use is not legal. This is something, of course, that people continue to watch to see what will the state do. So House Speaker Tim Moore had said, quote, there is some support for something where there's doctors involved and where there's tight controls and pharmaceutical involvement. Now, when you hear that, how confident are you that the bill could go further? Because I believe last year, I think you had touched on it a little bit, it passed on the Senate, but it didn't quite make it to the House floor.
Well, I think that when we begin to look at this bill, we begin to look at other states around the country that legalized cannabis for medical use. And when we begin to look at that, we also begin to look at the laws surrounding it to see what would be best for our state. And as you begin to look at the bill, we feel like we've created a good bill that will do the things that are necessary for our state and to make access for some of those that need it in our state.
Now, what have you heard personally about the arguments against legalizing it? Maybe people saying, this may lead to, this happening or that happening.
Well, of course I've heard. I've heard some of everything. I've listened to some of everything. And one of the things that we have to look at, and a lot of people, when they look at marijuana, they think of somebody smoking a marijuana cigarette or something of that nature. When we look at opiates, opiates are, we use them almost in every area of an operation. If you get an operation, they probably used an opiate to deal with the pain. And it's standard medical practice to use some of those opiates, which are very, very dangerous. You know, very dangerous, very addictive, but the things that have to be used from time to time for operations, for other kinds of medical practices. Marijuana does not have the same problem. Now, that's not to say that any medicine has its problems. Any medication, all of them, if used incorrectly, can be dangerous.
And I want to jump off that point for a little bit, because in the show open, as we heard from Jerry Royal with the NC Family Policy Council, he said, quote, "The public health risks are immense, drug abuse and addiction." And then he went on to say, we didn't play the whole thing, but he says change in brain function, lung disease, intoxication, and impaired driving. But someone might listen to that and go, well, you know, alcohol can lead to you doing some of that, the impaired driving, intoxication, etc. And this is a substance that people, medicinal marijuana use, they're saying it helps them with their pain. It helps them deal with what they're going through, PTSD, epilepsy, things like that.
Yes. Epilepsy, that's a good one to bring up, because I think that, you know, I've known people that have had to deal with epilepsy. I've seen what they go through. And if this is something that can help them, this is something that can help some of our citizens, I think we have to look at it. I think we owe it to our citizens to look at it, because it's being done in other states, and if it's good enough for some of these other states, I think it's good enough for our citizens as well.
Well, and that's one point I'm thinking about. You know, if somebody's doctor says, hey, you know, you may want to consider if there's a way for you to access medicinal marijuana. Obviously, you can't do that here in North Carolina, but if you see other people saying, yes, it's helped me deal with it, some people may argue, well, why don't you give people the choice to do what is necessary for them to help them deal with whatever condition that they're dealing with?
I mean, that's just one of many arguments. And I think that's something that we have to look at in this state, and we have to look at for the betterment of our citizens.
Now, you've been working on this for a while. I wonder, what stories have you heard from people that come and say, hey, can you do whatever you can to make this legalized?
I heard one this morning. I'm hearing them over and over and over again, and certainly I hear this a lot from veterans who have gone through a lot to serve our country. And if this will help them, we need to help our veterans.
And it's something clear that you continue to work on, and we'll see if it actually if it's actually implemented this year. And you mentioned a veteran, which is a perfect jumping off point, because as we explore where the effort to legalize medical marijuana is headed, we do want to hear from someone, a veteran, who has been advocating to make this happen. We'll talk with him on the record in just a bit. Thanks for staying with us. We're going to re-enter the conversation about medical marijuana, but from the perspective from someone who has advocated for it. Josh Biddix joins me now via Zoom. He lives in Shelby in Cleveland County. He's an Iraq War veteran who has spent 6 years in the Marine Corps, was a police officer for 10 years. Josh, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Chris.
So, Josh, you've dealt with PTSD and back pain. Can you just talk about how bad were the condition where you felt that you got to the point where you needed to start advocating for legalizing medicinal marijuana?
Well, it was a slow process for me. Having to retire out of law enforcement, you know, that following couple of years is when a lot of that really showed up for me. Ended up getting into the VAs, you know, the VA system, and bouncing around between neurologists and, you know, the pain management clinic, that type of stuff. and definitely added some tools that worked. But you still had a lot of issues that were, impacting you. After doing a lot of research, talking to others, other veterans, former, first responders, police officers, I decided to start incorporating it, and as needed basis with severe pain flare ups. With me, I've got numerous herniated discs, spinal stenosis. So that's always an issue, and then that plays into the career I had, 15, 16 years of constant stress, and that dealing with military, Iraq, and law enforcement, street level law enforcement.
Josh, we talked to you a while back, and at the time you had indicated that you were on 23 different medications at one point just to deal with some of the things you were just talking about. Any improvement since that time we last talked?
Oh, yeah. And I really didn't even realize that I'd been prescribed that much stuff. The VA has a system where you go in to, reorder your medications, that type of stuff. And me and my wife were looking at it, and it was like, holy cow. I mean, it's just 23 different, things. I guess at that point I was probably 37, 38 years old. But now, yeah, definitely since incorporating it, along with all the, the pain management, the psychotherapy side of it, that has definitely cut well in half at this point.
Like you said, you've got some new tools that have helped you through this process. So have you looked at the latest version of the NC Compassionate Care Act?
Yes, I have.
So what do you think about it? Anything that needs to be changed, added, anything of that sort?
Looking at as far as conditions that qualify, I think we've hit a lot of the key ones. I understand some of the questions surrounding the chronic pain type qualification. I think there's ways around that with, evidenced through, imaging, diagnostics, that type of stuff, MRIs, x-rays, a lot of that type of stuff are going to confirm that, a person is going to have continuous pain. I know several people that have used it for insomnia. That's another great thing. Of course, insomnia is a side effect of other issues that may qualify. There's a couple things like that I'd like to see added. I do like under the post-traumatic stress that they've included former, first responders. You'd be surprised at the amount of former law enforcement that have reached out to me and talked about it. And they've seen, benefit. It's that as needed basis. It's medical application. We're not talking about, heavy daily use, that type of stuff. It really just depends on the individual.
No, helping them deal with, especially with working in a high stress situation. In your case, you're military and you're law enforcement. In terms of uncertainty from people about legalizing this for medicinal use, the National Institute of Health referenced a study where about 50% of patients with cannabis-induced psychosis converted to schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. And one entry that I saw in the Journal of Psychiatry and Neuroscience says there's still a lot that needs to be looked at when it comes to treating PTSD and other conditions. But as you know, people say it works.
Yeah, and we're aware that those issues can come about. I know that some temporary psychosis is due to dosing amount, and that is where a strict medically controlled program where you have a physician involved, you have a pharmacist involved through the dispensaries or companies. That's going to be huge on kind of balancing out that statistic. I know, research in the U.S. has been very limited due to the illegality of it at the federal level with the FDA and, of course, DEA applications. I know Israel, has been a huge proponent. A lot of promising studies that come from there, especially with post-traumatic type stuff with, of course, what their troops go through. So.
You know, you touched a little bit on the research aspect of it. Even when I was looking into this, doing my own research into it, you know, there's limited studies they have to it in terms of the efficacy of actually using medicinal marijuana to help with PTSD and other conditions. What do you think needs to happen for the United States to maybe increase the number of studies that are being done, maybe get more people who are willing to participate in studies?
I think there's definitely plenty of people, you know, willing to participate, especially as the big thing with cannabis we've seen is it's a stigma that has originated from, you know, the marijuana reefer madness age. So a lot of it's breaking that stigma. There's people there, or plenty of people who, you know, I know will participate in these type studies, but when it's controlled through FDA and DEA regulation, you know, it's been very tough for what I've seen and read from, you know, universities, research facilities to be able to do, you know, true medical research. All you see is negatives coming out based off of, you know, statistics or overdose statistics, that type of stuff. But there's not really been a lot that I've seen in the United States as far as, you know, like you said, the efficacy and the benefit.
Now, you talked about the legality of all this. Marijuana still is a Schedule I drug, but we do know that last year the MORE Act, or the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act, was passed in the U.S. House, but would still need to go further to decriminalize marijuana by removing it from the list of scheduled substances. Do you think that needs to happen? It needs to be removed from that schedule list for maybe this to go forward so that the legality part of it isn't really much of an issue?
Yeah, I believe, you know, that's going to happen. I think they need to just go ahead and move it to, you know, Schedule I means no medicinal value at the federal level. It definitely needs to be rescheduled or even decriminalized, I guess, at that level, and put it back to the states to make their own decision. Of course, I'm not an attorney, but I know that's going to happen, as well as I think it's going to be big for the Safe Banking Act that's been incorporated. You know, I myself own a hemp company or CBD business, and even banking for us has been horrendous. So there's several things that are going to have to happen there before we can get into, you know, a lot of the open research and ways to access, I guess you would say.
So, Josh, if you could directly address state legislatures who are not on board with this about legalizing medicinal marijuana, what would you say to them?
Well, you know, the polls that we've seen were upwards of, you know, the low 90% range of support among North Carolinians, and that's even in the most conservative districts. You know, unfortunately I've had a couple representatives, even one of my direct representatives, that refuses to even sit down and discuss the topic, and I don't understand why. You know, we've bought some very reputable, you know, folks up there to advocate, and this round I've got a couple of guys from Cleveland County, a former Green Beret and another former retired military / state trooper who will be coming with us. So I think you have to be open-minded, be willing to sit down and listen open-mindedly, and listen to the benefits that those of us have seen from it. You know, and I think if they don't, it's just a shame when, you know, it's kind of a shame on them type thing for me. I mean, I understand everybody has their personal basis for it, but there's plenty of support out here among constituents that, you know, it shouldn't be an issue for them.
Like you said, there's a lot of support for it. And the big question for people such as Josh Biddix, who want medicinal marijuana legalized, is what's next? So we're going to touch on that, but also talk about a group of people who want a stake in this after the break. Thanks for staying with us on the record. As we discuss medicinal marijuana, I want to bring back Senator Paul Lowe to talk about what's next in the process for our state. So what are the next steps for the NC Compassionate Care Act?
Well, like all bills, it's going to have to go through a series of committees and committee hearings. What I think will make this a little bit easier is it's already been through those committees once. So basically, essentially, you're having the same thing. Go back through some of those committees before it goes to the floor of the Senate. And then will be sent over to the House.
You know, a little bit ago, we were talking to Josh Biddix, that military veteran who said that, you know, he would like to see maybe a little more emphasis on some other conditions added into that particular act. And so I'm wondering, what kind of other feedback have you received from people that say this needs to be added or changed?
Well, we know that there's going to need to be some tweaking, for lack of a better term, and some things added that may not be in the bill now. But right now, we're trying to move forward with what we have, and adjustments, I'm sure, will be made, you know, as the days go.
You got the ball rolling. You're going to kind of see what
Yes.
comes within that regard. As I was looking for more information for this, I noticed that hemp farmers have also expressed their concerns about maybe feeling left out of the previous version of this bill, not able to capitalize on it. What are your thoughts on that?
Once again, there's going to be some more tweaking as we move forward with this bill. I mean, there's going to have to be. And it's like no bill is a perfect bill, but this is getting off to a good start for us to have medical marijuana available for our citizens that need it.
And as you work that process, like you said, you're just kind of getting it started. Would you welcome hemp farmers to be a part of this conversation, to hear from them, getting their
well,
feedback?
I'm already hearing from them. So I'm hearing from them.
Okay.
And I appreciate what so many of them have to say and share.
So I know we've talked a lot about medicinal use, but I'm wondering, you know, looking into the future, do you think that possibly one day North Carolina could venture into recreational use at all of marijuana?
That's someone else's bill. My bill is a medical marijuana bill, and that's pretty much where I'm going to stay focused, but I'm sure at some point someone will write and move forward a recreational bill.
You had mentioned that you and other state lawmakers, when it comes to medicinal marijuana, you have looked at other states, you know, and seeing what they've done and things in that regard. Is there anything that needs to be North Carolina specific to maybe get more people on board to say, yes, we need to pass this bill?
I think that the biggest hindrance to this bill is the stigma attached to marijuana. That's my own personal hypothesis.
What do you think needs to be done to actually reduce that stigma? Education, maybe, or
I think like all things like that, education. I think that of course there are various studies that come out, but I think there's still work to be done.
Still work to be done, and I guess my question is this: realistically, I know there's still work to be done, as you said. This year, could we actually see medicinal marijuana legalized after a session with state lawmakers, or do you think it still needs a little time?
Yes.
You think yes? You feel confident about it?
Yes, very confident.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to say that I hadn't already asked you about in regards to this topic?
Thank you for your time, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share.
Well, I wanted to make sure I gave you the time because this is an important topic. A lot of people are watching it very closely. Something that we'll continue to be watching here for On the Record as we continue to watch to see what happens in regards to the NC Compassionate Care Act. Of course, you're more than welcome to reach out to us here if you have your own personal story, or maybe there's something that we missed that we might be able to bring to this as well. You can be sure to follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/WRAL, or you can email us your questions, your comments, your criticisms on the record at WRAL.com. And you can always write a letter and send it to On the Record at P.O. Box 12000, Raleigh 27605. Thank you so much for joining us.